Yeah, so we're going to discuss about set contact attributes block. This is one of the important blocks there is in the whole Amazon Connect contact flow stuff. With this block, you're able to do a whole range of things, right? You're able to use it in your reporting, you're able to set and store values. That's the key purpose of the block. And then you're able to use those values to make dynamic configuration and a whole range of stuff. It's a very simple and a very short video. Let's just go over it. So the set contact attribute block, as we can see, allows us to define key value pair, right? It allows us to define and then also store key value pairs. When you take your set contact attribute block, there are three key things that you need to understand. First, it's either you are setting your attribute on the current contact. What this means is that your attribute kinda gets connected to the entire context flows journey, right? So once you set it this way, it means that at the end of the core journey, if you look at your contact lens or contact section, then you look at the user defined attribute, you should be able to see this as part of the attributes that were defined. So this gets associated with the entire core journey. And then anytime you see related contact, what this means is that the attributes are pretty much associated with new contacts, right? Or any contact that contains a copy of this current contact that you are on. And then with the flow, what this means is that whatever attribute you define in here gets stored in just the flow. So it's a very important distinction that you need to know. If you set your attribute as current contact, what you will see is that at the end of it all, when you look at your CTR, you are going to see those attributes and everything defined in there. Now, how do we use it? Just like most of the blocks, this is what you do. Inside your set contact attribute block, it's either you are having your system defined system attribute. System attributes pretty much means that the values you seek to pick, right, will come from the system value. That's the connect system or the connect application itself is going to give you that value, and then you are storing whatever value you are storing in there. Or you do user defined values, which is something that you see often. So what that means is that you are defining your own values and then you are going to make use of them. So a clear distinction is this: I have a user defined attribute, say my phone number, right? Now, there are multiple ways of setting values to this phone number. It's either you are setting it manually. What that means is that you are entering your value in here, and then what Connect will do is that any place it sees a user defined attribute for phone number, it's going to use the value you enter in here. Or you can set the phone number value dynamically by picking it, right? So I can say, oh, instead of me entering my own phone number, I can do this set system, and then inside the system, I can select any of this as my phone number. So this is my phone number. So the phone number is going to be this. Say I want the Connect number to be the phone number, system address or phone number. Or I want, in this case, I want a store customer input to be my phone number. I can select it and I'll do it. That is by selecting it dynamically. There are instances where you see people setting manually and then they will pass $.say external or $support store customer input and all that. That is the same way of they trying to set their own phone number a bit dynamically, but they pass it through them manual input, right? But it's the same thing as you selecting it this way. So this is how you configure your set contact attribute block. How then do you use it? To use it, say I have a play prompt and I want to use it. There are multiple ways you can nest several contact attributes and then you reference them. So what this means is that whatever value I have stored in here, the phone number is available. How do I use my phone number? Say I want to play the phone number here in this play prompt. I come in here. There are two ways. Either I do set dynamically, do the drop down, do user defined attributes, then I put my phone number in here. The same key as I have it in there. Or I can do set manually and then I'll do $attribute.phone number. Remember I said earlier that people could pass manual stuff. That would have been simpler like this. What this means is this: if I wanted my phone number, right, to be this, I could have simply come in, pass it in here. What this would have implied is that there is already a user defined attribute called phone number and then I'm accessing it in here. You see it? Or I could have simply do this. If you are looking for how I managed to get this, there is a documentation page to it, list the available contact attributes. Just search for AWS Connect, the contact attribute list JSON, and then you see this. So it defines and tells you all the JSON path that you can use. So for example, if you want to get a customer ID, if you want to get a customer endpoint address, if you want to get a region, all these things are listed in there. The one I did was a user-defined attribute. So if you look at user-defined attribute, this is how you do it. $.attributes, the attribute name. Then you are good to go. So if it's a flow attribute, this is how you reference it. $.attribute.flow. So if it's a lambda return value that you are dealing with, there is also a way that's going to be $.external. Then you make use of that. So there are so much, you can just go over it and then you come and then you reference it. So this is how basically you work with contact attributes in your flow. It's very powerful. Once you get it, you're able to make things dynamic in your contact flow. Thank you so much for watching, and then let's meet in another video.